Oh yeah, this is Lazy Money Machine. My name is Graham Brown, joined by
Eric ten Haven in Jakarta.
Yep, he's playing away on the slap bass there.
Yeah, it's not me, unfortunately. I think it comes from a synthesizer. It's pretty funky intro music.
Oh, you blew it there. We nearly had
too bad.
All right, so the point of the Lazy Money Machine podcast is ever to share with our listeners ideas, thoughts, insights into building passive income and creating financial freedom. Article here from Business Insider, which lists 15 things you can do to build wealth in the future. I just thought this was really interesting, Eric, because first of all, there's 15 things.
Right.
I'm a great believer there's just one thing you can do to build wealth, right? I mean, have you seen this article? Have you gone through the list?
No. So, like I tried to surprise you with the music and the sound clips, I'm letting myself be surprised by your searching of articles. So, enlighten me.
Blaze through these, and I'll just give you there's 15 items, right? And I think it comes down to just one, right, which we'll both agree on. But these are the 15 items. You tell me whether or not this is good advice or not for wealth, not success, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, invest at least 10% of your income in yourself.
Right. I think that's a fantastic statement because many people will not even think about taking something away for the future and investing it. So I think if you start with 10%, great, can only get better.
Okay. Invest at least 80% of your off time into learning.
Ooh.
Time off. 80% into learning. That's a big deal, right?
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, I don't spend 80% at it. And I think, I have a family, so they take my time. So I think 80%, if you're alone and if you're not family, if you don't have a family structure, possible, I think. Otherwise, I think it's a lot. But learning is important.
Yeah, exactly. We agree on that. But 80% is a big rod for your own back, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, number 3, don't work for money, work to learn.
Don't work for money, work to learn. Okay, so I think if you're young, yes. If you're starting out, do anything you can to be in a situation, I think, where you can pick up the most experience in the most different industries. Later on, I would say, work to build assets as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So you need money, right, to generate income.
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes on. So there's 15 items here, which are pretty much the same. And some of them get a bit fluffy, like acknowledge how dependent you are on other people. Does that help you build wealth? I don't know, to be honest. Does that? I don't know. I'm doubtful about that. Or create win-win strategic partnerships to achieve 10 times or 100 times goals. Don't know if that creates wealth, etc. I think it comes down to this, is that when I see lists like this, I know lists are popular on the internet.
Yes, yeah.
And that's probably why it's formulated like this. But I think it comes down to one thing. If I said to you, Eric, look, what's the one thing you need to do to build wealth in the future? If you just forget creating an article for Google's purposes, right? What would that one thing be?
I think the main thing is to create the mindset of creating wealth and passive income, because that's not normal in society, and that's a big shift, I think. So I think that's the main success factor. If you're able to do that, if you're able to shift your mind to, okay, I'm gonna, instead of selling my time for money, I'm gonna try to invest my time in instruments that create money for me. I think that's the key. Yeah,
assets that create income, passive income. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Exactly. I think all these other things then fall out of that, right? I mean, if you talk about invest at least 80% of your off time into learning, well, people don't have off time, do they? People don't have spare time, I think, generally. And the spare time they do have is they're so tired from working. And the reason is because they're working for money. And it says, work to learn versus work for money, all these kind of things. It's all very well. That's why you need passive income, because all the things on this list happen when you create passive income, right?
Yes.
This is the challenge, is that it's all very well to shift your motivation from getting to giving, as it says in number 6, but that ain't easy when you're not paying yourself enough money every month, right?
Yeah, I know. I think if I just quickly browse through the list, there's only point number 5 says invest at least 10% of your income into vehicles that will generate more money. I think that's the key. And I think the risk with a list of like this of 15 things, it's overwhelming. Where do I start?
Yeah.
And I think you and I have tried to come up with a way to explain to people, do it a simple way. Let's not overcomplicate it, because if you overcomplicate it, it won't happen. I think from my experience.
Yeah, like the old saying is like a man who chases 2 rabbits catches none, right? I mean, chase 15 rabbits, you won't catch any.
Too difficult.
If you look at here's the interesting thing, because a lot of this stuff, it makes sense, but it doesn't happen until you create passive income. We can talk about this in our own context. Number 14, know and operate from your deepest why. So what is your why that you're doing or pursuing? I think this is a really interesting question. This is something we've had quite a lot of conversations about, isn't it?
Yes.
But you can't have that conversation until you have time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the challenge, isn't it? It's all very well thinking about a why, but when you have a mortgage to pay, a review to do for your job, all that kind of stuff, you can't think about why, can you? I don't know. Is it possible?
No, I don't think so. And it's like a very popular topic too on the internet right now. Yeah,
right.
You have to find your passion. You have to. Well, start with having enough money to worry about your passion. I think that's sort of where I look.
Don't worry about paying the bills, right?
Not worry about paying the bills. And it's so important, I think, to realize that freedom comes from having freedom of time, right? And worrying about your why is all good and fine. But if you're still time bound by a job or by a way to make money, it's very hard to really have an open mind and a free mind to figure out, why you put on this earth, And I think start with, in my view, start with creating these assets to generate income. Then you can worry about these deeper life questions, I think, and then you can spend, your whole life or your whole day on it. But will it make you more happy? I'm not too sure, actually. You're always saying, right? If you want to be happy, do more of what makes you happy, which I think is so true. It's still about doing, right? About getting out there and doing stuff, not so much about the philosophy and thinking about, It's important, and meditation has a place, and visualization might have a place, but it's really about doing. You get your energy from doing, not from thinking, for the most part.
Right, and that takes time. And to have the time, you have to have the freedom, and to have the freedom, you have to have the money. So it all comes back to creating passive income. You'll see these lists, and as Eric's rightly putting out, there's a lot of pressure, I think, on people today to explore these esoteric questions like why.
Yes.
Why am I here? What am I doing to contribute to the world? And I think, unfortunately, that creates a lot of pressure on people. And they start by looking at those questions thinking that will solve the problem, but it won't. The problem starts with turning this first wheel. That first cog is passive income, because once you can turn that wheel, all the other wheels turn.
Yes.
Right? They're all coming out of that. So I think these lists are interesting, but be confident that you don't need to focus on all of these things. Focus on the one thing. That is the base. That's passive income and the mindset that goes with it.
Completely agree. We'll see you in the next episode, guys.